Welcome. We all know the story. On January 29, 1886, Karl Benz received German patent number 37435. This document is rightly called the birth certificate of the automobile. But for those of us who live and breathe the history of these machines, the collectors, the restorers, that's merely the preface. Today, we're not just celebrating the what, we're deconstructing the how and the why. We will move beyond the common narrative to explore the specific engineering decisions, the material choices, and the elegant, if sometimes flawed, solutions that make the Patent-Motorwagen not just the first car, but the foundational blueprint for everything that followed. This isn't just a historical artifact, it's a masterclass in first principles engineering, a tangible link to the very moment our passion was born. Let's begin. At the core of the machine lies its true revolution, the 954cc horizontal single-cylinder four-stroke engine. Karl Benz didn't just adapt an existing industrial engine, he designed this one specifically for a lightweight vehicle. Its large, heavy horizontal flywheel was a critical design choice, not for speed, but for storing kinetic energy to carry the single piston through its three non-power strokes, ensuring smooth, continuous rotation at low RPM. Now, for the restorer, the details here are fascinating. The ignition system was a high-voltage trembler coil, a massive leap over the unreliable hot tube ignition systems of its contemporaries. This required a battery, a spark plug, and a level of electrical complexity previously unseen. Fuel delivery was handled by a surface evaporative carburetor. Think of it as a basin of gasoline with air passing over it. Incredibly simple, yes, but also maddeningly sensitive to temperature and vibration, a key point to remember when attempting to run one today. Finally, the valve train, a mechanically operated exhaust poppet valve pushed open by a camshaft, while the intake valve was atmospheric, sucked open by piston vacuum alone. This asymmetry is a defining characteristic of this power plant. Many early automotive experiments were just that, a motor bolted onto a heavy wooden horse-drawn carriage. Benz's genius was in recognizing the need for an integrated system. The chassis of the Patent-Motorwagen is a purpose-built frame of steel tubing, brazed together much like a bicycle. This made it incredibly light, a critical factor when your engine produces less than 1 horsepower. The most obvious feature, of course, is the three-wheel configuration. This was not a primitive choice. It was a brilliant evasion of a complex problem. Four-wheel steering required complex geometry, what we now know as Ackermann steering, to prevent the inner and outer wheels from scrubbing in a turn. By using a single front wheel, Benz completely sidestepped the issue, creating a simple, light, and effective solution controlled by a vertical tiller connected to a rack and pinion gear. For braking, the system was equally elemental. No wheel brakes. Instead, a hand lever pushed a leather-lined wooden block against the main countershaft pulley, the same shaft the drive belt ran on. It was crude, but for a vehicle weighing around 220 pounds and traveling at walking pace, it was sufficient. A machine is only as good as its performance in the real world. In August 1888, Karl's wife, Bertha Benz, provided the ultimate proof of concept. Without her husband's knowledge, she took the Model 3 prototype on a 106-kilometer journey to visit her mother. This trip is legendary, but for our purposes, it was the world's first endurance test and quality assurance program. Think about the problems she solved on the fly. When the carburetor flooded and clogged the fuel line, she cleared it with her hat pin. Direct feedback on the fuel system's vulnerability. When an ignition wire shorted, she used her garter as an insulator, a harsh lesson in material durability. Most famously, when the leather brake block wore down on long descents, she didn't just accept it. She stopped at a cobbler and had him nail strips of leather onto the block, effectively inventing the first replacement brake lining. Her journey was more than a publicity stunt. It was the first field service report, providing invaluable, non-negotiable data that led directly to improvements in the subsequent production models. It proved the concept not just to the public, but to its very creator. So, what is the ultimate significance of the Patent-Motorwagen? It wasn't the first self-propelled vehicle, nor was it the most powerful. Its true legacy is that it was the first holistic and commercially viable automobile. Karl Benz synthesized a lightweight chassis, a reliable internal combustion engine, and functional steering into one cohesive, integrated package. For us today, preserving one of these machines, or even a faithful replica, is about more than owning history. It's about preserving the foundational engineering questions and answers that launched an entire industry. It stands as the definitive blueprint, the elegant mechanical axiom from which everything we know and love about the automobile has evolved. Thank you.